Hello and welcome to Deep Dive, the half podcast, half review show where I'll have some weekly discussions on media that I've ingested recently and give you my very biased subjective opinions on them. So, with that, I've had this series queuing for a while now and we've got a lot to talk about. So there's going to be no rhyme or reason to the topics I'm bringing up, as proven by today's first episode, Halo Combat Evolved. That's what it's called, right? Yeah, Halo Combat Evolved. This originally started as a dedicated Halo video, and has now evolved into basically watching me ramble while I play footage of the game up in the corner there for you to enjoy. What was the plot of Halo? So, from what I've gathered, there's a man, his name's Master Chief, he's a Spartan, a super soldier type warrior, that comes out of chronostasis because the battle is underway between humans and the Covenant, alien battles, far off in deep space, and the humans are getting fucked. We're getting our asses kicked, frankly. It's not going well. So, that's why we awaken the Master Chief, and then it gets really bad, because some stuff happens. I remember we get invaded by the Covenant, we have to escape, and we crash land on the Halo, which, as we learn through the game, are these mythical rings created by the Forefathers, the progenitors of the modern space universe as we know it, and we have to fight the Covenant off while also uncovering the secrets of the Halo and its true purpose, which is the Flood, an alien infection parasite that shows up midway through the game, and we find the Halo ring exists to be able to kill them and all sentient life in the galaxy, which we get kind of tricked into by Guilty Spark, if I remember, and then we need to stop what we begun and destroy the Halo ring so it does not do any damage whatsoever. And then we destroyed the Halo ring and there's no more Halo rings, definitely. That was the only one. That's what I remember the story. So let's go into the story time now. So, Halo has an interesting relationship with me. So I play these games over on stream on twitch.tv/mblaze53. Come and check out whenever you're around. I never played Halo when I was younger. I grew up in the Halo generation. Most people around me played Halo. I remember Halo 3. I was very young at the time. I think I was 9 at the time that game came out. And I remember the hype around it. Finish the Fight was everywhere. I remember seeing Halo 2 on the shelf at Target and looking at the cover and being like, that's pretty neat. But I didn't own an Xbox. And by the time I got an Xbox 360, I was too deep diving hard into Nintendo to even bother trying to jump into the Halo bandwagon. Then comes my good friend Indy. Now, Indy is a huge Halo fan and has been trying to get me to convince the series for years. We had a bit of a go with the multiplayer story mode back in 2019, I want to say. That sounds about right. But I ended up not getting really far into it. Then I finally figured, you know what? I want to add this piece of gaming history to my catalog. I want to beat Halo, which has now turned into beating all the Bungie-developed Halos, which we are gradually making our way through again over at twitch.tv/mblaze53. And I have to say, quite good game. It's quite nice. I understand the hype. The big thing with this game going into it was sort of seeing if this game stands up there as the games you always hear about that are responsible for the modern generation of gaming. Your Mario 64s, Sonic Adventure, I'm biased there. All these other modern 3D games that really refined and you could see where the modern genre has begun. Halo definitely feels like that. This game is really nice to control. It looks really good. It's a good package. It's a nice package. It's a nice little package. And it's funny. I don't like FPSs. I'm really not an FPS guy. I've tried a few here and there. They don't vibe with me. I don't mind a third-person shooter every now and again. Even stuff like Metroid Prime, I really just can't get into because of how much I struggle with the FPS genre. I didn't have much trouble here. Granted, we were playing co-op. I had Indy carrying me the whole time, dragging me through these games and levels. But I quite enjoyed my experience playing through this. I'll tell you some things when it comes to the gameplay that sort of interest me. This is kind of a beat-em-up, in a way. I know early FPSs were like this. The way the game is very much an on-rails, get to a room, kill a bunch of guys, get to the next room. It's kind of a beat-em-up. And I kind of enjoy that, I'm not gonna lie. There's definitely things that, now playing Halo 2 and 3 at the time recording this video, you do see how they've evolved the series. That said, Halo 1 is simplicity in its perfected way. I think where I really started getting involved with the game There's a lot of bridge sections early on that have been quite memorable when it comes to just exploring the world when you actually do reach the Halo ring. A lot of indoor areas that look very, very nice. We'll get more on the graphics in a bit. But I remember it's the beta level. Silent Cartographer. Yes, I know this level now off by heart. The Silent Cartographer is an amazing level. It is level 4 of the game, not counting the actual... It's the 3rd level on the actual Halo itself. And this level actually did blow me away. This is the point of the game where I was like, oh, this is what they are capable of. This is what Bungie are trying to do. And it's a brilliant level. It's really good, frankly. I really like the vehicle sections. The Warthog controls take some getting used to. I'm really not good at driving it. I like the variety of guns in this game. Particularly, I know Indy's a big fan of the shotgun. I enjoyed the Magnum, and I know the Magnum's busted. Even just the simple assault rifle brought me joy, but I think none of the games really stood out here. I think it really took to the second game when the guns really stood out to me and became memorable of like, oh, I've got my favorites. So we'll talk about that when we get to Halo 2. We'll talk a bit more about the story and the cast now. Master Chief in this game, you kind of get the vibe he is like, he's him. That's the common thing with these Halo games. And again, more than Halo 2. But I found John okay. I really liked Cortana. I do understand why Cortana is so popular to many people. With Cortana, for me, though, it's really hard because when I see Cortana, I just hear Salem from Ruby because that's what I'm used to when I hear her voice actress. Few of the side characters you can see, like Sergeant Johnson, Major Keys, all being interested in the story and how they do function as a part of that. It's just... Halo is such an interesting game when it comes to the way its levels... When it comes to the gameplay and the levels and the way they end up evolving, though, while, as I just said, Silent Cartographer is the peak, damn, is it a steady decline. Obviously, there's levels that are infamous, like the library. I didn't feel the library that bad. There's certain areas that kind of just do get repeated, and there is a lot of repetition, and when it comes to that kind of things. As you do get further in and you have to fight as the Sentinels, the floating things that have the lasers, the game does get a bit repetitive when the Flood take over. I do miss the Covenant's appearance. It is interesting that kind of with Halo, I understand it does the whole bait and switch with, oh, it's the Flood now. The Covenant do kind of vanish, which I feel like that was one of the strong parts about the early half of the game is indeed the Covenant enemies. The Flood enemies I do know is a common critique of the franchise where they are just mindless, not really well designed in terms of AI because they're not meant to be, they're zombies. But the Covenant AI is so good and so varied, plus it's always fun hearing the Covenant voice dialogue as well, that you do miss it in the second half. That of course all culminates in the tank run. Oh, actually, before that, when it comes to Keys and like the corpse and like the threat of the Flood and the horror of the Flood, I do really enjoy that. I'm not a horror person. I find I'm a bit squeamish personally. But that said, though, some of the stuff in the modern graphics where you have like Keys and what happened to him with getting infected goes really hard. There. The second half of the game is definitely where it gets more hard as well. You can definitely feel a lot of problems when it comes to, well, I mean particularly, even though we were 2v2, I remember particular sections in the library and even the Keys level, like the actual body where you find Keys, like Flood infected, I think it's Hive Mind they turn him into. Like, we died a lot of times in there. That said, it got even harder when it came to the later levels of the future games more than this one. I didn't find Halo 1 that hard. I think we played on normal difficulty by memory. But of course, it all culminates in the Maw and the tank run scene, and all I could think was Metroid. I remember on stream I even sung the Metroid theme, because it's just a Metroid escape sequence. That's literally what it is. But it's a good culmination. I think the tank run, the Warthog run's pretty clever. It is missed in some of the future games where they couldn't put it in, but then when it makes its culminated return in 3, it's very good there, but of course that's future games. All in all, it does its own in a nice little package, despite being very cut for content, as you can... There's a few corners that get cut with the game that you can definitely feel. You can definitely feel it was rushed in a way of certain games were in this era, where they're only rushed if you notice or you're kind of looking for it, where you see these corner cuts and these little things they've done. You definitely feel that with Halo 1. I touched on a little when it comes to the different versions. We played most of this in... Was it the old graphics? I think we played this game pretty much mostly in the old graphics. I quite enjoyed it in the original graphics, in all honesty. I checked some of the new graphics from time to time. They're good. They're good. I played Halo 2 in the new graphics. I think it's very much better there. But there's definitely, you can feel a bit of art direction lost with the new graphics from time to time. There's a lot of overly detailed things. I remember Indy mentioned to me they particularly try to match Halo 3 with this game. Like, that's what they were eating towards. But considering this is the first one, I kind of like it having its own direction, so that's why we stuck with the original graphics, of course. The music also is very interesting in this game. I feel like there's not many tracks, and I feel like they queue up at weird times. That said, the soundtrack is definitely Halo. Obviously, everyone knows the Halo theme. I've known the Halo theme for the longest time, despite not actually, like, being a part of the franchise or getting really into it. I know the Halo theme. Master Chief's theme as well is another standout track. Again, Silent Cartographer, I remember having a very good usage of music in that level. I also think a lot of the sound effects in this game are really good. I already talked a bit about the voice acting and how much I really enjoy a lot of the Covenant performances and just the grunt dialogue. It's really enjoyable. But overall, that's all the opinions about the game. How does it make me feel? How does Halo make me feel? It made me feel kind of warm and fuzzy, in all honesty. As I mentioned, I really appreciate how this is a progenitor of the modern FPS genre. Playing through it, you do see this stuff, and I've actually, while I didn't love the game, I really did respect this game. I really did respect Halo and what this game was trying to do and what it has been for gaming. That said, I didn't fall in love with the franchise. But if you come back to the Halo 2 video, maybe if you're a Halo fan, you'll hear some more opinions there about where I might sit with this franchise. Now,